So how many of you guys ever get nervous before a photo shoot or wedding at all? You get butterflies in your stomach?
Every single time.
Okay. Well, that sucks, because I never get nervous at all. Actually, 11 years of doing this, and I still get those butterflies. But what really helps a lot is just having some go-to ideas and remembering that this is the best part of what we do, guys. This is the fun, is getting out there and interacting with people. And sometimes that's what makes you the most nervous, because you don't know what's going to happen during the session, and that unknown is always a little scary. But this is what I think should be the joyful part of working with your clients. And not only are we going to talk a little bit about some posing principles today, but when we're talking about working with real people and real clients, they're looking at their images once you present them to them, and they are remembering how they felt when you took that image. And so more than anything, we want to create an experience. We want them to see natural expressions that they know that they see every time they've looked in the mirror their whole lives. And just create something great for them to remember. I was so cool in high school. I was awesome. And so during the time I was president of the chess club, I learned how to make balloon animals. And from that nerdy experience, I kind of developed this idea of balloon posing. So this is the method that we're going to kind of base everything on. When we use what we call balloon posing, we start by shaping. Kind of like a balloon artist would kind of stretch out and get everything ready to create his little balloon animal. So we're going to start with shaping and then inflating, obviously. And then we're going to ping it, and then we're going to pop it. Okay, we're going to pop the balloon. So we'll go through all 4 steps and sort of explain what we mean by each of those things. I'm going to just let you kind of observe the script when I come to an engagement session and meet them, perhaps for the first time. Okay, so hey, you guys, how's it going? Good to see you. Welcome. I'm a hugger. I can't help it. You look lovely. Oh my goodness, this is going to be great. So this is a beautiful day. I've been kind of marching around and finding some great locations and some gorgeous shots that we have in mind. So I just want to let them know that I've been doing some work ahead of time. I'm a professional. I'm not going to come up and just ask them, so where do you want to go? Where do you want to take the pictures? Right? They're looking to just be served and for me to lead them by the hand. You're going to basically look toward the light, but instead of looking right at it, always to this side that's closer to me, right? So a couple of tips I'm giving her. I always want my female subject to put her weight on the leg that's furthest away from me. So that shifts her hip out that way and kind of, so it's not accentuated. And then she's able to just kind of tiptoe. Jana, you'll just tiptoe your toe that's this way and create a really nice line. Even in a dress you can see. That's great. And then when I have her look past the light, but closer to me, because I don't want her to look off that way and just see all the whites of her eyes like this. I want her eyes to be toward me where I can see some of that color. So let's get a sort of a first shot. That's great. And really lean into him, Jana. He's going to support you there. That's perfect. Really nice. You can, generally I'll look at the highlights in the image, and if I want a really dramatic shot, I'll expose my camera about 2 to 3 stops underexposed for the highlights. A lot of the image is going to just be black. And then you come in, your subjects are a silhouette basically, and if you take your flash and put it over to the side enough, a lot of the times the mistakes that we make with off-camera flash is to like keep it right beside us, like, oh, I'm using off-camera flash, and it's still right by our camera. So it's more like on-camera flash. But if you put it to the side and really create shadows and just light up part of them, then you get this really nice natural looking effect. Just paints them really beautifully. So we're gonna go with some natural light shooting, and then we're gonna go through those 4 steps with Mike and Jana here. When I'm looking for my locations, I'm basically looking for a deep background that kind of leads in past them and creates some bokeh behind. And I want them to be backlit, so they're rim lit. And I don't mind if that rim light blows out a little bit, as long as, when I'm shooting natural light, as long as the front of them toward camera is nice open shade and blocking that sunlight. So they know what to do all throughout the shoot. And then I'm gonna start giving them some prompts. So we've kind of shaped what they are gonna do. Now we're going to inflate. So inflating is, even if my lens cap is on and I look through there, I'm gonna be like, oh, y'all look great. You know, oh, everything's perfect. Look, your hair is amazing. I love this. My key really here is I don't want to flatter, like sort of false flattery. People can pick up on that. If I'm like, oh, you look like you've lost some weight since the last time I saw you, right? That's not really gonna go very far. But just honest to goodness, like you're rocking this dress and like you're GQing it up. This looks fantastic. So they have a little confidence, and that's gonna show in every picture. And then finally, I'm gonna ping this. So ping in sort of in the tech world is when you send out a signal to try to get a response and make sure there's a connection. And that's what I want to do. I just want to send out some verbal cues to get some emotional response between them. So for the first one, I'll usually do something like this. Jana, I'm going to have you just kind of keep your face toward the camera. But Mike, I'd like you to just kind of turn towards her like you're going to whisper in her ear. Thinking of what was the first thing that ran through your mind when you saw her walking through the halls of high school? This angel. And when I count to 3, I'm going to give you some instructions. You just have to obey exactly what I say. Don't think about it, don't question it. And just get ready for your shot here. All right, so look at one another. And on 3, 1, 2, 3. The first one to make yourself belch wins. Burping contest. Out loud. Wait, I didn't hear it. Did anybody win? So this is just, I can't believe one of them doesn't win. Normally I would make sure that whoever won doesn't breathe it too much in the face of the other, but this is just kind of a unexpected little cues that they would never, sort of put them in a romantic position first and just have them calm down and then ask them to do some ridiculous thing right off the bat. Having a whole list of little prompts that you can give so that they're not just always standing there in a posed position looking pensively at the sky or something. And more than standing in position, I always like couples to move as much as possible. So we're gonna have them walk towards us. And when I give, the only directions I'll give couples when walking to make them pro models is basically you're gonna own the runway here, right? So when you take steps, you're gonna act like you're walking a tightrope. So you're just gonna drop one foot in front of the other. And when you have your female subjects drop one foot in front of the other, that's just going to give you a lot of opportunities for this really nice line as they walk toward you. So that you don't kind of get like this as they try to keep up with the groom here. So
straight line.
Yeah. And you can really like own the catwalk. You're really just going to throw those hips a little bit as you go. And for you can just kind of keep your feet close together, but you're not going to cross over quite as much. So I don't want any kind of bow-legged horse rider stuff going though. You're just looking around, you're loving the beautiful scenery, but you're flirtatiously looking at each other once in a while. Pause. All right, now rewind. You're in the sun I don't like, so whoop, 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 whoop. That's great, and I'll give you a cue in just a second. You're just walking away, looking at each other. I love that seeing your profile there. That's great. And then 1, 2, 3, paparazzi's behind you. Look behind. Oh, our adoring fans. Jana, we love you. We love you. One of the things we end up with a lot early on is a lot of pictures where it's like people standing like a board next to each other all the time. And you don't have any of that real human kind of energy. So what I like to do is have the groom give some natural shape to the female body here. So rather than posing, guys, I want you to think of yourself as a director, like if you were directing a movie. And so we're going to tell them what we're doing, but then we're going to actually let them have fun with some of these terms that you would use as a director. So we're going to give them action, and we're going to give them take 2. So instead of it sounding like, oh, that didn't work, let's try it again, it's more like you're on set and we're going to do take 2 now. And everything seems like it's working and feeling great, even when it doesn't go perfectly the first time. 1, 2, 3, action. Yes. And Mike, we're not going to go 100% of the way here, but you're going to go in as if you're just going to nibble on her neck there. And then I want you to listen to my cue, because now we have shaped, we've inflated, we have kind of created a pose out of the balloon. Now we're gonna pop it, okay? So I like to end every good pose with completely destroying it in a good way and getting real reactions. So go right back to kind of canoodling her right there. And Mike on 3, 1, 2, 3. Vampire biter, get her good. Arr. That's great. So I love some of those just reactions, the authentic kind of stuff that honestly in our engagement albums ends up being so many of the spreads in the album are those interactions between them and expressions. Even though as the core image, we have that beautifully posed, beautifully lit shot, the rest of those complement it so beautifully. So I have in mind that the ultimate image I want here is the two of them together in the light. So there's a little rim light on her hair. This is my spot. But I almost am never gonna start with them just at the spot. I wanna direct them to that spot. So we're gonna create a little storyline here for them. You're at a bus stop, Jana, and you don't know this guy. So you're kind of, when you're sitting here, you're kind of turning away from him a little bit, but you notice he's noticing you. And so you're gonna kind of make a move, Mike. So you're gonna start here, play it cool at the bus stop, but you know that this is your only chance to make your move before you may never see her again. So I'm gonna give you a cue in just a second. What I usually like to do is get this wide shot, and this ends up being like a film strip series of images that plays out really nicely in an album, and so many of them are gonna be so much fun. All right, so you notice he's noticing you, Jana. You don't know if you like him yet, but you still want to look good, right? You're kind of primping and showing off a little bit, shrugging that shoulder. And oh Mike, you can't resist it. Oh my goodness. You start inching in, making your move, trying to get close. Oh my goodness, is he really coming closer? Maybe a little, oh my, he's moving quick. This guy's aggressive. How are you going to react to that? Now I love my composition because they're kind of on this 1/3 mark down past the center point of the bench. Now you might want to turn away from him because who knows, I mean, he could have a disease, I don't know. And Mike, you're going to go in there and make your move. It's now or never. He's not resisting him too much. I think she must like it. These Las Vegas girls move fast, oh my goodness. The line that I'm always using at the end of that scenario to pop it is, oh, these girls, whatever city I'm in, you know, these Atlanta girls move fast. But for some reason, because she's always going to react to him when he gets that close. Just always gets great big laughs and kind of lets the whole pose fall apart in a really fun way. So y'all look great. I'm not going to take you off that wall yet because there's one more thing I love to do with little sitting walls. This is especially fun when the groom-to-be, the male subject, is kind of a little bit stiff and not really wanting to take pictures. Which, do y'all ever experience that? Yeah, the groom's not into it, but I like to force them into it. You know, awkwardness and discomfort is your best friend, I feel like, to get authentic pictures. This is a nice shot. I'm just gonna take a plain, normal, boring shot, you guys, then we're gonna have a little fun. I'm gonna provide the soundtrack for a little bit of a dance party. So I find that for some reason Shakira works the best. I like to use Hips Don't Lie, and I like to sing it in my very best falsetto. So when I start singing, you've gotta start dancing. And you gotta impress her. This is like the Birds of Paradise. The only way you can attract this woman is with your amazing dancing abilities. So when I go, all right, Mike, action. I love when your hips don't lie. I cannot lie. I want more, I love more. Reading the signs of my body. I'm on tonight, my hips don't lie, and I know what the feel is right. So I'll do one shot sitting before we do another style of walking shot. And if you don't mind me modeling this, I'm going to squeeze in here for a second. So I'll model with all day long, like my female positions, and the guys love it. The guys who wish they didn't come to a photo shoot, you love this now, right? This is the best. Now get ready, because this is my shot, right? But we're going to pop this pose in a second. So this is lovely. Slowly fade into complete like Christmas morning joy. I got every present I ever wanted. I'm so happy. Oh yes, candy canes. All right, and then from this position, we're gonna pop it, and I'm gonna tell him what we're doing. She's not gonna be aware of this, but you didn't hear that, right? Okay. I love secrets. Secrets are the best. 1, 2, 3, action. Yes. Oh yes. Okay, but pause. Some people hate tickling. You can only let this go on for like 4 or 5 seconds before someone dies, right? You'll probably cull out a lot of images, and you'll probably get 4 or 5 that will just be some of my favorite images that are not going to win a print competition award, but are going to likely be great sellers and make your clients really happy. That's who they are. I'm going to have you sort of sit, Jana, right here, and then let's turn your legs that direction. That's great. And you can, I'm going to shift you even more like this. So I like to use this sort of visible mode of instructions to almost like being in Star Wars. It's like using the Force and moving things around. But most people seem to understand this instead of trying to say, move more to your right or left, or people always get that backwards. So I'm going to pull and I'm going to push at the same time when I'm rotating people. So I'm going to move you this way. That's great. Snuggle in. We're gonna do, okay, here's a good opportunity to do a cinematic kiss. So one of the big issues with a lot of our couples is that when we try to get kissing shots, or they do a lot of that because they're nervous and so they just keep kissing, is that they're doing duck lips all the time, right? They're puckering so much. The kiss itself is not very attractive to the camera. It's that moment before the kiss. So instead of puckering, you're not gonna do any duck lips. You're not going to work any muscles. You don't want to look like Keira Knightley, like trying to poke your lips out. But the best way to get a nice full lip and a really attractive close-up kissing shot is just to open your mouth, relax, and literally breathe through your mouth instead of your nose. Good. And a nice deep breath through your mouth. Beautiful. That's great. After every shot where I get the female and male together on the ground, often I'll have him come in here and maybe like lay back opposite, so their heads are side by side and you can just get some fun downward angle shots. But right after I get him up, I'm always going to leave my bride down there for this last shot. This, without fail, it always ends up being one of their favorite, most flattering, kind of high fashion looking shots. So what we'll have her do is, I don't want to be too high up here where you kind of end up with her face like lined up with her body. But I'll get over here so that, Jana, you'll actually just kind of incline your head back to look toward me. That's it. And that's great. And then you're going to bring your hand up on your necklace. I'm not going to shoot her whole body, just the head. So I want hands in the frame so she doesn't look like just a bust or statue or something, but she looks like she's got limbs and everything in the frame. Bring this other hand up as well. And you can even just bring it kind of sort of feeling the fabric of the dress and everything. And since she's turned up towards the sky, you always get so much light in the eye as well, so much catch light. We're gonna go ahead and Jana, we're gonna get you up and we're gonna do a quick, what we would do is a bridal set of images. And honestly, our aim with our couples, especially on the wedding day, is creating beautiful portfolio images is great, but our real goal is that they're gonna remember their wedding day as a time when photography didn't get in the way or wasn't an extra thing that made them feel rushed. Instead, it's the photography actually allows them to enjoy their wedding more and allows them to create memories that they can carry with them. So one of those is we want our brides to remember forever what it felt like for her to be in her wedding dress on that day. When you're 80 years old and rocking on the front porch in your rocking chair, we want you to remember what the fabric and the texture of your wedding dress felt like. So we're gonna have, Jana, we're gonna kind of let you just play dress up like you would when you were a 4-year-old girl. I'm gonna have you just really playfully, a lot of movement, like you just pulled this out of the dress up box and you're just enjoying the way it moves, the way it feels, and just really look down and admire it while you kind of show off all, oh, I'm so sorry. Show off all the swinging and motions both ways. That's great. And yeah, you're not stuck in one position at all. That's perfect. Action, beautiful. And I'm gonna have you do a complete like 360, just play around. So go ahead and do a complete 360 spin. I'll get lots of stuff from every angle of the dress and making sure I get a lot of good images of the full dress as well. Mothers of the bride always want to see that full bridal shot with the full dress in it. And then I think what would be really nice is to kind of finish with one fun scenario here. All right, so we're gonna have Jayana. This is what I call lost in the woods. Whenever there's some nice light streaming through trees or some layers of texture I can shoot with, this kind of forces your model to do a lot of the things that really accentuate body form and posing, but it's natural. So Jan, I'm gonna have you walk through as if you're lost in the woods. You can come here right beside me and you'll be able to see this. What I want you to do is like, you're really concerned. It's starting to get dark, and as you come through here, you're just kind of placing your hands on bushes so that you don't trip, and you're looking around wondering where you are. Oh my goodness. But don't worry, someone is coming to your aid shortly. All right, so we're gonna start. This is gonna basically be a solo shot for her, but then it's gonna turn into a nice little story as we bring him into it. All right. You can take kind of that half step forward, looking around. Where am I? Oh my. Oh, that's great. And look right into the camera. That's actually a really nice look for you. Take one little step forward again, like your arms will start trailing behind you, Snow White style. Oh, that's gorgeous. All right, and now we're gonna bring in, I'm gonna give him an action. He knows what to do. And you're gonna be so relieved. You're gonna feel so great. Right now you're worried. You're not happy, you're worried. And Mike, action. Oh, who are you? And you've been alone for so long, Jayana. You just want someone to hold you, to feel safe again. So y'all turn toward each other and just wrap each other up. That's beautiful. And I'll have you take her by the hand and lead her out to safety. If I don't have the woods to play with, then I'll usually say, I'll start with him in place and get a solo of him. And he's come. The story for that is that he's come. Her parents want her to marry her cousin, and she's run away to her love, and this is the tree where they plan to meet and run away and elope together. But he's a little nervous because she's late. He doesn't know if she's coming. So I'll start getting these solo pictures of him, and then when she shows up, even though it's acting, somehow he genuinely looks really relieved and happy that she's there, and some connections that they can they have somewhere to come from when they're acting that out. So you're really directing them. So great job, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.